Hello, once again, this is Mr. Maupin coming at you here. We're continuing our look at topic 2.2 for AP Gov. We're in the midst of taking a look at leadership positions in Congress. Last time we looked at leadership positions in the House with lots of emphasis on the speakership, along with what means to be the majority leader and the majority leader and the majority whip in the House. And now what we're going to do is going to flip the script a little bit, and we're going to take a look at the minority side of the House, and then flip the script even further and take a look at the Senate side. Now, remember, party affiliation means everything. If you are the majority party, you run the chamber in the House. If you are not, then you are, well, doing your best to try to mitigate, the situation. And so, on the minority side in the House right now, we have the minority leader, and this is him right here. This is Kevin McCarthy out of California. Now, even though as the minority party, if you are out of power, technically, that doesn't mean you don't have any functions at all. The minority party is, of course, trying to get back into the majority position. And as the minority party leader, McCarthy is going to be representing the agenda and the goals of the, at least currently, the Republican Party. But for the most part, they don't have much of an influence legislatively. It really is trying to, negotiate as best you can with the majority party, but ultimately trying to get your majorityship back. And what typically happens is that if you are today's minority leader and the party majority status changes, then you become tomorrow's Speaker of the House. So Kevin McCarthy is hoping in the 2022 midterm elections next year that the Republicans are able to take the majority back in the House, and he would very likely become Speaker of the House. Not guaranteed, but very likely. And of course, as we've been hopefully paying attention, if that were to come to pass, the Republicans win in 2022, then Nancy Pelosi would most likely, assuming she doesn't retire or anything like that, she would most likely then become minority leader. Basically, the jobs would switch based on which party is in the majority and which is in the minority. Now, note, majority leader, second highest position in the House. Minority leader, highest position for the minority party. So, just kind of be aware of that. Below the minority leader is the minority whip. And the minority whip has the same basic functions on the minority side as it does on the majority side, except it's a much harder job. If you're the majority whip, you really just need to corral votes within your own party. If you're the minority whip, you are not only having to corral votes for your party, but you are trying to miraculously steal votes from the majority party as well. So to be minority whip is certainly harder than it is to be majority whip. And this is the gentleman that is the current minority whip. His name is Steve Scalise from Louisiana. Now, interesting story about him, actually very sad and a bit tragic. Steve Scalise was shot about 4 years ago at a practice for the congressional baseball game. He was practicing with other Republicans when a far left-wing nutball, for lack of a better term, will shoot him through his pelvis. Took him about 3 months to fully recover, but thankfully the congressman is back. So that's pretty much the House leadership side on that. And so with time remaining, what I wanted to do is switch over to the Senate side, which has some similarities, but also a lot that is different. Now, on the Senate side, there is no such position as the Speaker of the House, or Speaker of the Senate, if you will. It does not exist. Whereas in the Constitution it says the House shall be led by a Speaker, it says in the Constitution, Article 1, that the President of the Senate shall be the Vice President of the United States, which then means that, yes, the current President of the U.S. Senate is this woman right here, Kamala Harris. And, of course, this is historic because Kamala Harris is the first ever female Vice President in U.S. history, which means she's the first ever female President of the Senate. Now, we know that on the House side, the Speaker has tremendous power, just massive amounts of power. But ironically enough, on the Senate side, the president of the Senate has virtually no power. A lot of it ties in with the first president of the Senate, John Adams, who, was somebody that wanted to kind of control the Senate, but early Senate members basically created a lot of rules to keep John Adams in check and basically muzzled him and basically barred the president of the Senate from debating on the floor, voting, being able to serve on committees, anything of any significance at all. And so basically what happened is that after John Adams was gone as the president of the Senate, and then Thomas Jefferson became president of the Senate when he was VP, Thomas Jefferson just stopped showing up. He just didn't even bother to show up because he realized there's nothing to do on a day-to-day basis. So Kamala Harris does not actually show up to the Senate on a day-to-day basis, even though she is technically the president of the Senate. The only real power that Ms. Harris has is in the event of a tie, her vote is the tie-breaking vote. Now, interestingly enough, the current makeup of the Senate is 50-50 between Democrats and Republicans. So her vote is absolutely critical at the moment in the Senate. It's just a matter of the Democratic Party able to wrangle enough votes among its own members, like people like Joe Manchin or Kyrsten Sinema, whatever, to even get in a situation where it could be a tie, and then Harris would break that tie. So if the VP of the United States is not doing the job of running the Senate, well then who is? Well, the Constitution also mentions a president pro tempore that exists, a temporary president in Latin. And that person is Senator Patrick Leahy from Vermont. Now, Senator Leahy has the honor of being the longest-serving Democrat in the U.S. Senate, and he has been serving there a long time. In fact, he has been serving there longer than I have been alive. He has been there for 46 years. Just by the way, I'm 45 years old. And that is how he's able to become president pro tempore. Tradition stipulates that the longest-serving member of the majority party, so it has to be a Democrat right now, serves as the president pro tempore. But still, though, even though the president pro tempore is an actual senator that has all of the rights and privileges of a typical senator, in other words, being able to speak, on the floor and serve on committees and vote and all that kind of fun stuff, they don't have any real power beyond being any other senator. So what is this president pro tempore position really? It's really ceremonial in the Senate on a day-to-day basis. It's nothing of any great significance. Maybe the only significance that being president pro tempore has is being fourth in line to the presidency if the president, vice president, and Speaker of the House positions are all vacant. We've never even come close to that situation, so don't expect a President Leahy anytime soon. So if the president of the Senate, the VP, is not running things, if the president pro tempore is not running things, then really, who in the heck is running things? Well, the answer to that question is this guy right here, at least currently. This is Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is the Senate Majority Leader. And the Senate Majority Leader actually is the, for lack of a better term, the boss of the Senate. Now note, even though Schumer is the most powerful person in the U.S. Senate, his position relative to the Senate is not the same level of power that Nancy Pelosi has relative to the House. So just kind of keep that in mind. But nonetheless, to be Senate Majority Leader is very significant. Your job as Senate Majority Leader is to basically set the agenda. But note, historically, since the Senate is more collegial than the House is, there is an effort to try to work across the aisle with the minority party to try to get things done. Now, that's the historical tradition. But in reality, in recent years, that cordiality and that collegiality has really unraveled quite a bit. The Senate, more and more every day, is starting to kind of look like the House in terms of how they operate. Beyond that, Senator Schumer is also very powerful in terms of determining who gets to serve on whichever committees that exist. So basically, if you're the majority party, if you're a Democrat senator and you want to be on a certain committee, you basically got to have Chuck Schumer's blessing to serve in that position. Now, just like in the House side, below the majority leader position is the majority whip. And that person right now is Senator Dick Durbin out of Illinois. And a whip is a whip is a whip. Bottom line, doesn't matter what chamber, doesn't matter what party, it's all really the same job. It's about counting votes. It's about making sure that rank and file members are aware of how the party leadership is expecting them to vote on key bills. The whip helps to advise the majority leader. So in other words, Dick Durbin plays a critical role in working with Schumer to kind of be that liaison between the setting of the agenda for the party and then communicating that agenda to the rank and file members. Now, on the minority side, we see a former majority leader, and that is this young man right here, Mitch McConnell, out of Kentucky. Now, Mitch McConnell had previously served for several years as the Senate majority leader, but just like in the House, if one party switches to the majority party and the former majority party becomes the minority party, they basically switch job titles from majority leader to minority leader, which means that, McConnell was yesterday's majority leader, he's today's minority leader, and if the Republicans win back the Senate after the 2022 midterm elections, he could be tomorrow's majority leader, and that's what he's obviously hoping happens. Now, unlike in the House, where if you're the minority party, you're pretty much sitting on the sidelines and just hoping to win the next elections, historically, once again, the minority party has some degree of working with the majority party to set the agenda, although we also just mentioned that has kind of been fraying in recent years. Now, what power Chuck Schumer has over Democrat positions in committees, McConnell has with regards to Republicans on committees. So if you are currently a U.S. Senator that's a Republican and you want to be on a certain committee, you need to have Mitch McConnell's blessing, basically. And just like in the House side and just like on the majority side, there is also a minority whip, and that is currently not him, but him. This is John Thune out of South Dakota. He is the current minority whip in the Senate. Once again, vote counter, trying to communicate the agenda that he and McConnell put together on the Republican side and try to communicate that to the rank and file senators. Now, notes, to be a whip right now in the Senate is really, really important. Durbin and Thune definitely have a tough job of having to make sure that they wrangle their party members at all times, because one vote by one member across the party aisle can totally disrupt what actually happens in the results of these major bills. So, for example, Dick Durbin is certainly having a heck of a time trying to corral some of these Democrat senators, like, once again, Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Kyrsten Sinema out of Arizona, etc., etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Senate side of leadership. Next time we will be taking a look at committees. But until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.